G'day everyone, just recently I've bought an OSMO Action and one of the things that I found with that, if you want to use HDR or even 4K 60, you have to turn off stabilisation. Now if you're in any of the other modes, the stabilisation is just absolutely outstanding. But I do want to occasionally shoot HDR and also 4K 60 with the stabilisation on. And so what I did, I asked the company if they could send me one of these devices. It's a gimbal for the OSMO Action. Now you can also use it for the GoPro, things like that as well. In fact, it shows the GoPro on the back here. But the beauty of this is it's weatherproof, so you can use this in the rain and they can actually get quite damp. And also the OSMO Action you can as well. So you don't have to worry about using this if it's raining and things like that. And it shows that actually on the packet. But the great thing about this is it will stabilize the camera if you're using those modes that you can't get stabilization inside the OSMO Action. So this is a really great feature. So I contacted Pergear and they also sent me out this little holder to hold this adapter, but they sent me this so that I haven't paid for this, but like everything else I always give an honest opinion, and this is the actual gimbal. So this is the gimbal itself. Now I've noticed too, when you first put it in, it doesn't seem to balance. You can't get it across enough to actually balance, but it doesn't seem to make any difference with the gimbal itself. Now I'll turn it on and I'll show you what I mean. Now it's got at the moment it's got a small cable at the back which is charging up the OSMO Action, so that's one great feature as well. So you don't run out of the battery in the OSMO Action. But this is a full-on gimbal. Now it does have a stand, so you can sit that down and just leave it if you wanted to do things like time-lapse and things like that. It will work from the actual stand and also gives you something to hold on to as well. But this thing is just fantastic because there is a little mode at the back, or a little joystick that you can turn to move this around, you know, to go up or down, just like any other gimbal that you can use. And if you double click onto the handle at the front, it will go back to its original position. So that's fantastic as well. Now, if you look at the back, I'll just show you this. So on the back of this, there's a few different modes. So there's single click, which is pan following, as you'll see now. That's what it's doing now on the pan following. Now, if I double click, you'll see now that it will go up and down, so it will tilt up and down, which is, and these are just modes like you'll see in normal gimbals. If I triple click, it now will go all lock. So this is also great, like if you wanted to just move forward and things like that. So it's really fantastic, and you know, it gives you really everything that you want to use. I love it. And look, what we'll do now is I'll take some footage and you can see how this actually looks. I have shot it in HDR, so you can have a look at how that looks off the camera.
He said he only wanna see his friends. Another week went by and we barely even spoke. Think I'm beginning to read a sequence. Why did you turn your back on me? Maybe there's something I don't see. Could you just shed a little light, shed a little light, shed a little light on me? Shed a little light, shed a little light, shed a little light on me. Why'd you go and leave me here all alone in the shadows? Could you just shed a little light, shed a little light, shed a little light on me? I don't like to be a bother, but I'm getting kinda sick of trying to figure
Okay, so
this
what are the
out
advantages
on
of
my
this? Well, it's really incredibly light. I mean, really light. So if you are traveling and you need to go sort of minimalistic, it's a great way of traveling. You've even got a little adapter at the side here that you can hold your mobile phone onto, which will connect to the OSMO Action as well, or your GoPro, so you can carry it that way if you want to. It seems to be just a beautiful device. If I hold that handle into it, we'll go into all lock as well. But overall, I've got really nothing bad to say about this at all. It does come with other cables, so you can attach it if you're using different devices. minutes. It will charge your device up. It seems to last all day. I've had this going all day and it hasn't drained at all. In fact, when I turned it on before, the batteries were still 3/4 full. So it seems to be that it's a really nice device. Overall, I just love it. The other thing too, you've got a button at the back. You can just tilt it if you want to. So if it was off axis, you can tilt it as well. Okay, so after I've got home, I thought I'd talk about how the footage looked. So it's pretty clear looking at the footage itself that the stabilisation is not as good really as if you use the stabilisation in the OSMO Action. But having said that, there are times when you have to use this. Like for instance, because I was shooting HDR, it's not possible to shoot steady shot with that camera when you're using HDR. There's other things too, like if you want to get the full crop, whenever you put the stabilisation on, steady shot, it does crop into the image and you do lose quite a bit of image there. So there are times where having the gimbal would be really good, but I just wanted to test it this time using HDR. But I think what might be best with this camera, if you're not shooting HDR, if you use this with the steady shot in its normal modes, you will get an outstanding result. But for the price you're paying for this, you really can't go wrong, seeing it's only around about $100 USA, or even a little bit less than I think, to purchase this. So for the price, I think it's amazing, and it certainly gives you the ability to shoot things like HDR or shoot the modes where you don't have to use the stabilization, where it crops in if you want a wider view. And that's about it. So if you have any questions about this, please leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll also put the link down to where you can buy this from. And I wanted to thank Pergear for sending me this, obviously. And I really love it. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all soon for the next video. Bye for now.